The door chime to the antique store jangles.
Looking up to see who it is.
It's a very nicely dressed young lady.
Stand up. Good afternoon. Can I help you? Just kind of glancing upstairs. Just look back at her.
She laughs. I'm looking for Robert.
Robert? Robert who?
Pickman.
No, don't think there's any Robert Whitman here.
The artist.
The artist. Oh.
Never mind.
I think.
She goes back up.
You have a nice day. Oh, God. Names. So I sit back down, crack open this little book with all the cipher type stuff in it. Grab a stack of paper and a pen and start to see if I can make any sense of this. Done it once before when I was tired. And I'm trying like all the various little tricks, just looking for 3-letter words and seeing if they can make them, does it look like it's an and or a the and all the little subs, see if it's just like a simple substitution or all those sorts of things. See if there's any kind of patterns, word lengths, all the usual things. See if I make heads or tails out of what this is.
Well, for all this being an antique store, for all the things that you've been through in the last little while, with that desk being gone, there's nowhere to do this kind of work down here in the shop. All the chairs are dainty and padded or velvet or velveteen, and things stacked on top of other things. It's just
all right.
And that huge window with all the passers-by. Any one of them could be watching what you're doing.
Okay, becoming irritated with the dainty chairs and trying to stand up and trying to balance the book on the piles of detritus. And, oh, man, where am I do this? To go upstairs small is going to irritate the heck out of me. I'm just looking at just poke my head out the door again for a second. See, just say, is there any other place I can go, a little shop, a little something, where you sit down and not be bothered, but actually sit down like a real chair?
A place without people on Newbury Street?
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Forget this. I'm going back to the paper. Grabbing the book, grabbing the papers, stuffing them in my, jacket or at least under my coat when I walk. And hustle back to the paper. Maybe I can sit down in the bowels of the paper again. I'm completely undisturbed.
Okay. Across the street, the erasure of the bakery is the only different thing about Newbury Street. Well, except that the bus stop, the newspaper stand, there are those posters, people and future. Rally times listed, some of them already passed, some of them a day or two in the future. Locations listed, all welcome, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm just not going to give those a passing glance, but I sort of shudder a little bit and keep walking.
A few blocks, right? Getting close to the Commons. There's a people and future truck. They're handing out loaves of bread.
Yeah, I'm gonna cross the street. Just kidding. Kind of
Percentile dice. Spot hidden. It's McSweeney. Look, that's him.
Yeah. Something catches my eye.
When you left Newbury Street, there was a man. Plain clothes, but a blue hatband. Stands out, this blue hatband. He's still behind you. Not close. Not far.
All right, I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit. I'm giving him a glance, an overly long glance for a second, and then I'm just gonna pick up the pace. If I can lose myself in some humanity, wonderful. If I can't, so be it. But I start walking with a much more purposeful stride at this point.
Okay. You have that feeling on the back of your neck when someone's too close behind you.
I'm gonna wheel around really fast.
There's a lady with a pram and a small child. She's like, "Woo!"
Excuse me. And so turn right back around and
Some people. She jerks the kid's hands. You see? Mind your surroundings.
yeah, you watch it too, lady. I just keep on walking.
More people are eyeing you now.
Gotta get off the street.
Cut across the park.
Yeah, that looks like the best option. So I'm not running. I'm walking really fast, overly fast.
Conversations as you get near the bridge. I heard it was around here. Another group of people saying, "Oh, it's tragic. She was so young." The kind of conversations that people have when they're passing by a scene of tragedy. You're just catching snippets as they move by, as you move by. but the patterns are clear. Something happened in the park.
I'm just going to wait till I find somebody, not a couple, not a man and woman, but maybe just a fellow about my age, something like that. Somebody that's talking about it. Say, what's happened? What happened here? What are you guys talking about?
Well, you didn't hear?
No, was it just happened?
Oh, it was on Friday. They found a young girl murdered. There's all kinds of outlandish stories about
what kind of stories?
About what was done to her.
Foul. Well, what kind of foul play? I mean,
murder.
Yeah, but I mean, what was done to her?
I heard they ripped out her heart.
Holy jeepers! You know what her name was?
No.
Well, that's awful. That's awful. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just really looking around for the man with the hat band or anything else. As I'm talking to this fella.
Check.
Yeah.
That's him. Same walk, same clothes, different face, same hat.
Yeah, listen, fella, I gotta go. Thanks for letting me know. That's awful tragic. Jeez.
Ooh. Says, yeah. Well, what's your name? Why are you so curious about this?
I'm a reporter. McSweeney.
How come this hasn't been in the paper, man?
Hasn't been in the paper. Not in the Post. Not even in the Globe.
No. What's going on?
I don't know. It's the first time.
Have there been more?
Well, geez, I don't know. I'll have to ask my editor. Now you got me curious. I may have to be the one who does the story.
There's been more. You can tell he's lying.
I ain't lying. Come on, fella.
Come on. How many? Where?
I don't know. It's the first I'm hearing of it. And at this point, I'm turning around, and I'm getting a very fast pace out of there.
What are you hiding from us? Pigeons fly up.
Now I'm going on a bit of a trot. Not exactly a run. Not a fast walk.
November 1931 is kind to few, least of all the little guys caught between the cold shoreline, the crummy breadline, and the frontline violence of mobsters and G-men. Every day, the news is so bad that people don't even want to line their clothes or shoes with the papers that report it. But the chill talks them into it. Maybe, if they live one more day, it might be work. Although the suffering and the violence are getting worse every day, the papers take any opportunity to write about something else. Scandals, gangsters, socialists and socialites. Hundreds of small fry jump or get jumped every night. But if one rich guy stumbles,
As you get to the exit on the other side, check.
Yeah.
There he's. How did he get ahead of you? Same hat, different coat, different face.
And yeah, I'm still continuing at a really fast pace at this point towards the paper.
Church bells start to ring.
Oh man, am I close to my old church? Is that close from the paper? I'm looking to see if I can figure out which one's the closest to this exact moment.
Equidistant? I mean, it's easier to get to the paper.
Yeah, I'm heading to the paper.
There's a good diner on the way to the church.
No, Dad, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. Not gonna help. So yeah, no, I'm starting to trot towards the paper. Being careful not to slip on the ice and the snow.
There is a lot of ice because a lot of the snow is gone. It's still a little, not as cold, but it's cold enough for ice. And as we get deeper into downtown, there's more people on the streets, different types of people, right? Panhandlers, men with folded over newspapers, checking off wasted job opportunities, pairs of police officers, street cleaners,
we built America together in the past.
people handing out
we can rebuild
people
now
in future
for a brighter future.
pamphlets and
People in future.
political rally pamphlets and mayoral election pamphlets. Of course, the people in future, those people,
McSweeney.
they watch you go.
It's McSweeney.
McSweeney.
Yeah, and so I'm slowing down at appropriate moments, so as not to bowl people over.
McSweeney.
But I'm still going at a good clip. Really, really kind of wanting to get inside the front doors of the posts.
McSweeney. Doorman opens the door.
Thanks. And
You still work here?
Look, it's McSweeney.
yeah.
I heard you'd been fired.
No, that's true. Those are rumors. On a big story. I tell you about what, but I can't tell you.
I see. Just stay here a minute, would you?
What do you mean, stay here a minute?
Like I said, I heard you'd been fired.
That's not the case. I was just talking to the editor the other day.
Yeah, well, Mr. McSweeney, I'm not saying my information could be wrong. Just have a seat, take a load off. Would you want some coffee? Just going to make a call to personnel. That's all.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So the other doorman comes out and tries not to cross his arms and do the physical intimidation thing, right? But he does. And you can hear the conversation on the intercom. Yes, McSweeney, T. Yes. Oh. Okay then. We're both right.
What do you mean?
You were fired. But you've been rehired.
Huh. Okay then. Fantastic. Do you mind then?
What did you do?
To get fired or rehired?
What's the story?
There's no story. I mean, like, listen, I'm working on a story for him. I think he just was mad I didn't get Stannis was a little mad that I didn't call for a couple of days. But he had me in another story anyway. What was he going to expect? Sometimes you go deep undercover.
I don't know.
Listen,
You don't have to tell me. It's fine. Just go about your business. But be careful, I guess. You know, you can be fired without notice if you don't come to work. Man, it'd be nice not to have to actually come to work. You know, they start talking to each other and ignoring you.
yeah, great. So I'm going to go see if Carter's still downstairs or if he's left for the day. But, my intention was to run down there and probably one of the safer, less frequented by anybody else parts of the building.
Well, Carter works Monday to Friday. So, of course, she's here.
Excellent. So, heading downstairs, right, going right to his office, such as it is. Hey, Carter. How goes it, man?
I heard you've been fired.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. I got rehired. I didn't even realize I'd been fired or rehired. As far as I was concerned, I still always had a job. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Wonders never cease. Listen, I have to do some research down here. You know anything about ciphers?
I know what they are.
Okay. You know how to crack them?
No. But
Okay,
I've heard
then.
of this amazing place.
Yeah.
It's not far from here either. And when you go in, it's really quiet in there.
Yeah. Spare me.
And everywhere you look, there are these pieces of paper held together tightly by other pieces of paper and glue. And inside is all of this knowledge. It's got a name. Something about not telling the truth. A library.
Listen, Carter, when if you all of a sudden get fired, I got another one for you. You're the
Tap
funniest
dancer.
guy I know. And no.
No, but seriously, I know there's a whole section in the library on cryptography.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in a while. Not right now. I just need a place to sit down and take a look at this book here, and
If
you don't
I was
mind.
going to offer you some coffee, but it looks like you've had like 8 or 9 too many already.
Oh no, another one would be fine. Another one would be fine.
Well, the coffee, is at the diner across the street, and He slides 2 nickels your way.
Yeah, listen, I would love to go out there right now, but I'd rather stay here for a minute, if you don't mind.
You can stay anywhere you want, but not in my office.
There's a place I could sit down here someplace. Come on.
Of course, there's all those desks down the hall.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to find myself one of those desks.
Okay. Just a couple of other Cub reporters working. They've got file cards and whatnot, and they're making notes that come in, go out.
Right.
So
Great. Now I'm going to try.
okay. What I'd like for you is to roll your percent. This is your power times 5.
All right. And I do not recall if my power has remained.
It has remained low.
Well, whatever it might have been. This was not. I'm not having a very powerful day.
Well, it's concentration. Symbols are swimming on the page. Noises. Clock ticking. A lot.
I look up and ask one of the other Cub reporters, hey, listen, you guys hear anything about any murders in the Commons?
Yeah.
So I had somebody ask me in the Commons. I didn't hear anything of it, about it. I had somebody ask me, how come that hasn't been in the paper? I mean, what do you mean it's not been in the paper? Hasn't been in the Post? Not even the Globe? Forgive me. I crossed myself, And they said, no.
Right, not on any news.
Why?
Well, what we thought was that maybe there were more of them.
Yeah. Then you'd think there'd be a lot of stories, right? Or am I missing something here? I know I'm getting a little...
Well, first we have missing people.
Right.
And then the mob massacre.
Right.
And now brutal murders of children.
Children? There was a young girl, and nobody said child, but okay.
Yeah. School age.
School age. So, go on.
So nobody said anything. But nobody's been able to print anything. So stories get submitted, they don't appear in the paper.
Would Stanish do that for? I mean, those are great headlines. I mean, it's tragic, but they'd fly off the shelves. I'm right off the newsstand shelves.
The other guy is just a public order. I want to start a panic.
Panic? So you think the mayor, the cops? I mean...
Well, you got more time in this paper than I do. Hey, weren't you fired?
Yeah, apparently I was, and then rehired because I was such a great reporter. It was all a misunderstanding. Somehow, you know more about that, and more people know about that than about people getting murdered. That's amazing. Can't even believe,
At
not
least we
even Ethan
heard about
Pritchard
the
got something.
murder.
I've been working on another story.
What?
I can't tell you.
Huh?
PR stuff for rich folks, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Not exactly the best, but it's going to pay the bills. You know, I can't even believe even Pritchard didn't get something put in the paper about that. Not even the tabloids.
Yeah, well, Pritchard.
He's the one that got my mob massacre story, isn't he?
Oh, your story?
Yeah, my story.
What? Why do you think it would be your story? I mean, of course they're going to put a guy like Pritchard on it.
Oh my God. Never mind. Never mind. You've been really helpful.
Let's go. You have a nice day,
Yeah, you too. You too.
McSweeney. That guy.
Don't even dignify him by using his name back at him. Yeah, have a good day, fella. It's just no good. Now what the hell am I going to do? Can't concentrate enough to figure this damn thing out.
Another guy comes in. McSweeney, I heard you were fired.
Yeah, I was fired. But yes,
Why are you still
but
here?
yet here I am. Because I'm like Jesus, okay? I come back from the dead.
Good on you. You know anything? No, never mind. Doesn't matter. Just have it.
What? Go ahead.
Oh,
Try me.
I've been trying to put together a story about this revival group. People in
Oh,
the
yeah.
future, and I've just been told to find something else to write about.
What? Well, this doesn't make any sense.
You know what else doesn't make sense? Last
Go
night,
ahead. Yeah.
last night, I went to three speakeasies.
Yeah.
You know, for the conversation.
Of course.
But there was no conversation available for any money. Music, dancing, fine cigars, no conversation. Not even bathtub conversation.
What do you make of that?
That the world is going to hell.
Yeah, sounds like it. Was booze any good?
Well, you know, I wasn't there for the music.
You can still see, can't you?
I can still see.
Yeah, well, it couldn't have been that bad.
What are you working on?
Oh, I was trying to crack a cipher in an old diary. I think there was a story in it. We're not getting any luck. I should gotta find an expert or somebody to look at this thing for me. But,
Can't help you there. Tried the library?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the library. Yeah, I'll take care of
I
that.
don't mean to be insulting. You look really wiped out. You look really tired.
Yeah. It's been past couple of stories have been really kind of tough.
Past couple stories, I haven't seen your name up. Oh, your story's been pulled too?
Yeah. One, yeah, you could say that. That one I was specifically asked to work on by Standish, so I can't expect that one to be pulled.
Lucky. Put in a good word for me.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Now you're alone. Down in the bowels of the building, the presses are starting to roll.
Oh man. None of this was making any sense.
On your chest, there's a feeling of pulsing warmth. There's your heartbeat, and there's a different beat. And little by little, the two beats begin to synchronize, yours changing to match this.
All right, that's it. So I stand up, I grab the book, kind of shove this in under my jacket, and put my hat on and go back upstairs.
And a whisper behind your ear. That voice.
Terence, I would speak with you. Come to me.
Yeah, come and find me, why don't you?
That warmth begins to get uncomfortably warm.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, so I'm gonna I keep walking outside, try to get out of the building.
You're drawing some looks.
Yeah. What else is new? What else is new? I'm gonna step out the door onto the street.
Office buildings are emptying. Panhandlers are out in force. Police are out in force.
Right. Oh, God.
Now starting to feel like a burn.
Ugh. I'm damn it. I'm gonna start to head down towards the dock.
After a block or two, it subsides to a pleasant warmth.
Wonderful. So I'm just gonna start walking slowly towards the dock, taking my time. Gotta ditch this. I want to bring. Oh, like you don't know, you bastard, isn't it? That's crazy.
Closer you get toward the dock, the cleaner the streets, fewer panhandlers, more bread lines, soup kitchens, new shops, job boards.
All right, revitalization. That's great. Yeah, so make my way down towards the building that I remember.
With that decision, that warmth subsides just to a pleasurable feeling.
Isn't that lovely?
There are some cops, lots of work and industry, things being moved, carts being pushed, cargoes being moved from one warehouse to another warehouse, food vendor stalls, small restaurants now occupy some of the rundown and empty buildings from your last trip down here. Fresh paint everywhere, new glass, new signs. As you're moving through the crowd, a voice is separating itself from the crowd. Someone quite a ways back is calling your name. Terrence! Terrence!
So a wheel around.
Sounded like Eddie.
Sound. Now I'm really intrigued. Eddie.
But you can't see him in the crowd.
Yeah, I'm gonna start walking back there looking for him. Eddie, where are you?
Guy hops up on a brand new wood and wrought iron bench, like a park bench. Jumps up on it. He's waving. Terrence! You've never seen this man before. From behind, it sounded like Eddie calling your name, but when you turned, it was a completely different man, someone you've never met. Eddie, Terrence, you are both on the waterfront. And Eddie, you are face to face with Terrence McSweeney, school chum, occasional assistant on your confidential investigations. People are passing by. Tradesmen, load bearers, cleaners, police officers, all the people who should be here in this freshly painted, rebuilt, revitalized waterfront. Warehouses, bustling with activity, diners, restaurants, coffee shops. But your old friend doesn't seem to recognize you.
Jesus, Terrence, I just get out of the hospital and I'm walking down the street and you walked right by me without a glance. What's going on?
Listen, chum. You sound like Eddie. You talk like, you don't look like him.
What are you talking about? I'll look down at myself. Does anything seem different?
First thing, there is a tag around your wrist, like you get in a hospital. And the clothes, these are not your clothes. They fit well enough, but they're not your clothes.
Okay, the duds might be a little bit different, but you say I'm going to try and find a window or something reflective to look at.
One just over there, fresh pane of glass. Someone is standing there trying to letter it. Some kind of fruit stand.
All right. I turn toward the window and just kind of give Terrence a little bit of a like, hang on here for a second or whatever, because this is weird. I take a few steps over and
there's a figure making your motions, but it's not you. It's that guy who came to see you in the hospital.
What was he? He was some kind of government guy, I think. At least that's what he smelled like. I don't remember if he said anything. He'll look back at Terrence and just, buddy, I think I may need some help here.
You and me both. What kind of help? And in the meantime, I'm just looking for that guy that was after me.
Well, you're right.
I'm looking at.
You're right. This isn't me. How the hell does something like this happen? I remember the car. I remember you palming me off on that kid to drag me into the hospital. Thanks for that, by the way. And then I'm on the street. Well, something happened in the hospital. I don't quite remember. I remember the guy came to visit me. He was asking me all these questions about what happened in the office. And then he opened a bag. He showed me something. And after that, honestly, Terrence, I don't remember anything after that until I'm walking down the street and I catch sight of you.
And do you remember what happened in your office before you went to the hospital?
I think that guy Gavigan visited. I'm not sure. And
Son of a gun.
there was an unholy ruckus, I remember, and I don't know if somebody got me with a sap or something in the back of the head, and then you showed up.
Well, you're missing a lot of time there, buddy, but damn. Listen. I think we should go I think we should try to go to see my friend Smalls.
Smalls, who's that?
Smalls, a book dealer. You remember him? I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I mentioned him, but yeah,
Yeah, I think I've seen the sign on the street.
yeah, Newberry.
Do you and at this point, Eddie's kind of looking back and forth. He's looking at his reflection. He's looking at Terrence. He's like, do you accept it's me?
No,
It's a
not really, but I don't have anything else to go by. Listen,
okay. Here it is. Back
Yeah.
in school, gym class. You and Abby O'Toole underneath the bleachers.
Okay, well, either you're Driscoll or you've done your research. Jeez, I forgot
don't know
about
if you
that.
ever I don't know if you ever told anybody else.
No, I don't think I did.
I know you swore me to secrecy.
Jeez. Our old man would have. Anyhow, never mind. Listen. So, given Driscoll the address to Alfred's shop,
Okay.
exactly where on Newberry Street, I said, "Listen, I want you to do me a favor. We're gonna start going back there. If I start getting really squirrely, I want you to knock me out and take me there. Just I don't want it to hurt too much when I wake up."
Well, I can't say I haven't thought about
Damn it, you know what I mean.
giving you a blow or two here after, waking up in the hospital. And actually, there's one more thing. If this isn't crazy enough, I look like the guy who visited me in the hospital. That's who I look like. I know I don't look like me, but I know who I do look like. Only I ain't that guy.
You got his wallet?
Searches himself.
Yeah, there is a wallet. It's not your wallet. It's a very nice wallet.
All right, I'll start going through it for identification.
There's a badge from the Prohibition Bureau, an ID supporting the identity of one Alexander Thornton.
Well, Mr. Thornton, pleased to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, I should be shaking my own hand. Do you know who this guy is?
No. Just come with a gun? What else you got in there, pal?
Keep on.
No gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no luck there. The gun's back at and he kind of stops on the word office and just kind of shakes his head as if to kind of clear a memory or clear a feeling. All right. So we're going to this guy Small's shop, and if I notice anything out of the ordinary about you, which I'm just laughing at right now, given and he looks at he just keeps on his gaze just keeps on going over to the reflection. Yeah. If it's anything as squirrely as what's going on with me, all right, I'll lay hands on you.
You have to lay him. Just knock me out. Come on. You got to be able to do it in one blow.
Oh, you know what
stupid.
I mean. You know what I mean. I'll put you to sleep.
That burn. It's becoming even more insistent.
Oh.
What's going on? You don't look so good.
I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good.
All right, let's get to this shop then. Get out of the street.
All right, I'm going to attempt to walk all the way back to Newberry Street. I'm absolutely keeping my eyes open for these guys that were after me, or with the blue hat bands, I believe it was, or hat. And
In the back of your mind, Terrence, there's that insistent voice.
Come to me. Come to me.
I'm just going to try to ignore it as much as possible.
Check it.
Ow. 74.
So while the mind is willing, Eddie, the flesh appears to be weak. Terrence's steps flag.
As soon as his steps start to falter, and I assume he's going to start turning maybe a little bit, I'm going to kind of take a half step back. I'm just going to cold cock him in the back of the head.
Okay. This is fist
All right.
against a non-resisting opponent.
Okay.
You an extra 10%.
Okay. All right. I roll a 5. I hope I know my own strength.
Okay. That's nice. And this is an intentional knockout blow, which in BRP is very nice. Check your rolled damage.
Okay.
This is a D3 plus a D4 for it.
Okay. All right, 5 points.
And Terrence, your current hit points.
Let's see. Don't believe that I had healed anything. 12. But I believe I had taken, gosh, it's been so long now.
Are you telling me that your notes are not up to date?
They might not be. They might not be. It might. I didn't take that much from the last pop, though. Don't recall taking anything from falling down the well. It might have been 1.
All right. Well, then what I would like to do. Have a percentile roll from you, please. For Eddie. Scott.
Yep. All right, that's a 47.
Terrence, stars fill your vision. That heavy wallop on the back of your head. Vision fades for a second. While hard, the blow is not quite enough to send you off to sleep. It is enough, however, to draw some attention. No reaction, no interference, just observation from all the people around. That man just punched that other man.
And I did find out I was at 9. I had to wade through all the sanity loss to finally find the one. Oh, ah,
Meanwhile, on Newberry Street, Terrence isn't there. You left him with the book. He was going to decode the book. He's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. Ugh. Where
The
could he have
office
gotten off
quiet.
to?
Normal traffic outside. Newberry Street is unchanged and reliable as ever.
Hmm.
And no one is shopping in the antique store today.
All right. Put my hands on my hips. Sort of frown mightily. Where in the world could Terrence have gotten up to?
There's a thump in the safe.
I'll hustle over, put my ear to the safe. See if it happens again.
After a while, you start to hear your own heartbeat.
Well, I suppose it couldn't hurt to take a look, just to be sure. So I will quickly turn the dial on the safe that I have in the little office and open up the safe and peer cautiously inside, just to kind of peek in there.
As the door opens, the cover of the book and some of the pages of the book are flopped out. So the back cover of the book and many pages are still in the safe. The front cover of the book and a number of pages are lolling out of the door of the safe like a very dry tongue, waving a little bit, almost beckoning to look inside the book.
Well, I suppose it is cruel to keep you locked up in there in the dark. I'll pull the book. I'll gingerly put my hand underneath the book, pull it out carefully, close the safe again, kind of cradle it, close the book with my other hand, give the dial a spin, and I will take the book to what it is open to. I'll leave it open and cradled, and I'll take it to the little desk, the countertop desk of the shop, and put it down. And since there are no customers, see what's going, see what's there.
Of the book in your palm is warm, like flesh. Like your hand on the small of a dance partner's back.
Okay. I'll have to remember to move that safe away from the rear heater. And sort of almost lying to himself, because I think he's of two minds about this. but he will. He's seen enough at this point to know that there's more in, was that Shakespearean line, there's more in heaven and earth than is dreamt of in your philosophies, Horatio. So he'll put the book down gingerly, carefully, so as if he would, as if it were a living creature, so as not to, not to discomfort it. And he'll
The
gaze
left-hand
down at the
page
open
is
page.
one of those instructional pages, the way it's formatted. The text is giving some kind of instruction. The right-hand page is another one of those disturbing woodcuts. It's a caricature of a mother or matron figure with signs of chores all around. There's cut wood, there's laundry done, there's a boiling pot, and her children prepared to be cooked.
Very disturbing. I do read Latin. Is this page open? Am I able to read the instructions that are given on this page?
Oh yes. The book's Latin no longer presents much of a challenge to you, although sometimes the contents use archaic forms or use vocabulary that's essentially meaningless. But this is talking about an invitation and an invocation. On this page, it's already in process. So you're not sure who or what is being invited or invoked, just the steps. And what it immediately brings to mind is the police officer's horrified description of what your poor baker friend had done in the bakery, which is now all evidence of that, all sign of the bakery has been erased by that new business that you can clearly see out the front window of the shop with its bright green and white paint.
All right. Smalls will take a step back from the book, somewhat aghast at what he is perceiving written on the pages, depicted on the pages, particularly with the correlation to what occurred just across the street after entrusting poor Mrs. Taranowski with this tome. Alfred will mutter to the book, "We never really did get a proper introduction to one another. Perhaps I should start at the beginning with you, so that we can methodically understand what you're trying to communicate. Let us begin at the beginning." And he will, before he flips to the very start of the book, he will see, and I don't know if there's any proper pagination, so it may be impossible. Like if there is some sort of pagination, he will take a note in case he needs to show Terrence this page. Like he'll know, like, oh, I know it was page whatever. Given that it's a medieval manuscript, it may not have any kind of pagination at all. So he'll look for it. He'll look in the margins if there's any sort of or up in the, in the corners to see if there's anything like that. If there's not, he'll do his best to try to remember where in this big tome this is. Then he will.
The corner of the woodcut page, the top right corner of the woodcut page, horrifyingly dog ears itself.
Okay. All right. That's probably, I'm going to reach for the sanity dice if that's okay.
I was
Because,
on my way there myself.
yeah. Because yeah, this is not like a wind in the shop, like ruffling the page. This is a full on, like
Yes.
almost telekinetic kind of, an invisible hand has done this. So being, he will make his sanity roll, which let's see what happens. My dice here. I will pass a 29 off of 58, so Smalls will pass that roll. He will thank the book for being so obliging. And then, while he's deeply troubled at what just happened, he remembers his manners and he thanks the book for what just happened. And then he will carefully pick up the text block and let us begin at the beginning.
But back on the waterfront, although people are horrified at this sudden display of violence between two people who were just having a relatively relaxed conversation moments before, nobody presses in. Terrence, you have a pain in your chest, you have a voice in your head, your ears are ringing now from the blow to the back of your head.
Oh, so I sink to my knees and look up at this guy.
Eddie, you've seen these physical signs before. It just takes one more tap and he'll be out.
I don't think you
And-
have it in you. You look so frail now with that freaking rail body of yours. To help in all your muscles, Driscoll. You're a sissy.
Oh, and Terrence,
That's even your real name.
you have taken 5 points of damage.
Of course I have. Down to 4.
And Eddie was gonna make it quick. He does a couple of steps to the left, leading with the left foot and bringing the right behind it to get around to the front, because he was going to put one right on the point of his jaw. And he's almost trying not to laugh, but something that Terrence said kind of rings true, because he used to be a heavier guy, and this guy is more of a, like a welterweight or a lightweight. So
Mouse.
yeah. So yeah, he kind of takes this in all in kind of a split second as he's maneuvering around to deliver the knockout punch, and puts a little extra mustard in it. And that's a 49.
All right. Another hit. And how much mustard is slathered on this knuckle sandwich?
All right, I guess we're going to see. 5 points.
Again with percentile.
Another percentile. Okay. $17.
The lights go out.
Now at this point, Eddie's kind of panicking, because at first he's thinking, like, geez, I've been on the front pages. People are going to recognize me. And then it hits him that he doesn't resemble himself. And the second he gets to that point, he goes further down, that train of thought, and his hand goes to his breast pocket and he whips out the wallet and starts flashing the badge. Treasury agent, treasury agent. Everybody, this is a fugitive from justice. I was seeing if he'd come quietly, but he wasn't gonna. I just go about your business.
One of the police officers comes over. Do you need any assistance?
No, I got this guy. We got some folks around the corner that'll take him into custody. It's a federal matter. He tries to say with as much dignity as he can muster.
Let's see how much dignity he can muster. This is fast talk.
Right.
Now with the badge, that gives you an extra 20%.
An extra 20. Okay. Oh, and he needed it. It's a 58 on a 60.
Police officer, makes a note of the information on the badge. Keep fighting a good fight.
Yeah, you too. I commend your thoroughness, taking your notes. That's policeman's best friend. And I will then
the unconscious body of Terrence, and people's attentions are still kind of drawn in your direction.
Just totally ignore him. Totally ignore him. Let's get Terrence to the shop.
Right. Oh, he's heavier than he used to be.
Yeah, and I'm lighter. I'm sure you point that out.
How will you make it to Newbury Street?
How far away are we?
For a fair distance. Up from here to the Common, then across the Common to the end of Newbury Street, then down Newbury Street. He'll wake up before you travel all that distance. Trolley, cab.
I'm gonna look at the departing form of the well, actually, no, I've gone around the corner already. Is there a cab I can hail?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Taxi.
What's happened to your friend?
He's really not a friend. He's a suspect. And again, flash the badge.
So you want to take him downtown?
Not exactly. We got other business. We got a witness that needs to identify him. So we're just gonna head to this address. Gives the Newbury Street address.
Pulling out in the traffic. Oh, is this about that murder? Oh, those murders.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
What it is, isn't it? It's about the murders.
I can't say anything.
Well, I understand, but if you could say.
I'll just kind of fall silent. Hey, keep your eyes on the road, pal.
You guys are all the same.
I hope
Back
so.
on Newbury Street. The beginning of the book is the same as it was before. Arrogant. And again, lending that air of one man dictating to another.
Smalls is trying to get a sense of personality of the book. In his mind, he's wondering, is this book the personality of the one doing the dictating, the personality of the one receiving the information and scribing it? Is it some conflation of the two of them? Or is it its own personality? Is it its own, is it he's wondering this. He has no answers, but he's wondering, even as he's reading the contents of the book itself for its informational content, and he is making note of the authorial voice of the one doing the recitation, and perhaps looking for hints of the scribe and his intentional or unintentional intrusion into that flow. He's also wondering if the book has picked up its own personality over the many generations. It may be, he's sort of trying to be so he's kind of trying to discern this book on multiple levels, all the while wondering if he's going crazy, wondering if this is he indulging in some fantasy. But again, given the ultra mundane to which we have exposed ourselves, he's trying to walk that line. He's trying to sort of, am I really experiencing what I'm experiencing? Am I able to discern truth from sort of fantasy in the pages of this book? So he's treating it with care. He's not sure, sort of like the trope of the unreliable narrator. He's sort of wondering if this book is, he doesn't know if he's dealing with a book that, well, anyway, he's wondering, he's treating the book almost as if it's a wild animal. It's something that he wants to study for its informational content. He does want to respect it because it does seem to have some sort of sentience, although he struggles with that awareness. But at the same time, he also is treating it, he realizes this book has been through many hands. This book is a survivor. Quite literally. I mean, it's ghosted down through many generations with its terrible secrets. And he knows on some level he's just one chapter in the life of this book rather than the other way around. So with all of that sort of swirling in his mind, he's reading the book. He's trying to sort of discern it on multiple levels, if possible, all the while nervously looking up at the windows to see if Terrence is going to make an appearance. Perhaps foolishly, he's left the door to the shop unlocked because he's almost praying for customers, not just for the mercantile aspect of it, but to give him that break, that distraction, that sort of rude intrusion of normal Bostonian life. Somebody comes in looking for a gift or something. As much as it's almost like he keeps hoping that there'll be that intrusion of the mundane into this sort of well of weirdness that he's sort of pitching himself down as he spends so much time and attention focusing on this thing that is so unlike any other thing that he's ever encountered.
The text has that transition. In the beginning, it's introducing itself, and it's the scribe speaking to the reader. I, Johannes, right? I'm taking down the words of, but it very quickly shifts into the first person, but not of the scribe, of the author of the work. The woodcut illustrations it's unclear who may have done them. But there's this sense in the text that the small illustrations that cap the beginning of sections, that they are self-portraits of the scribe. From the very front matter, right, we have a picture of the scribe at his work. I, Johannes, am taking down the. But as those small little illustrations of those illuminations proceed through the early parts of the text, that lone figure at his writing desk is joined by a looming and shadowy figure. It has a very sinister aspect, and the honest, upright, joyful, monkish figure of the first illustration becomes a harried and frightened, almost caricature of fear as he's copying down.
Does this looming figure of doom bear any resemblance to any of the characters that we have run into in our, I don't know if it's that explicit or not, but I don't know if there's any. I'm looking for either identifying anybody that we've run into, some of the strange people that we've encountered. I'm also looking for maybe hints of some of the sigils that we've seen inscribe the desk that I sold, the notebook, the ring. I'm thinking way back to O'Shaughnessy when he was first speaking with us, and he twisted his ring around and he had a sigil.
Dr. Call, yes.
Dr. Call, yes, Dr. Call, right, Dr. Call. So Smalls is being very careful. He doesn't want to see patterns where there necessarily aren't patterns. He recognizes that humans look for patterns instinctively, but so he doesn't want to kind of jump into a false pattern, but he is looking for sort of wayposts to things that he may have encountered in the last few weeks of his strange journey with his colleagues.
Sure. Well, there's nothing obvious. No like decoration on the long dark robe, or no bony pointing figure or finger indicating some sigil somewhere. But perhaps this very clever illuminator hid something away that you might spot.
All right, let's take a look here. Alfred Smalls has a spot hidden score of 66. So let's see what we come up with. Alfred Smalls rolls a 12.
Earlier, you had been looking for pagination, and there was none. But at the end of the front matter, where Johannes is talking to you, there is not an illustration, not an illumination, but a watermark that isn't a watermark. And it bears the same design that strange medallion that Rory O'Shaughnessy gave to Callum McGuinness. This stylized image of a tree branch with a missing twig.
Okay. All right.
And a taxi
Smalls.
pulls up.
Go ahead. Sorry.
A
A
taxi
taxi.
pulls up outside.
Okay. Smalls will pull the book off of the countertop and put it just underneath on a small shelf that he has underneath the countertop, waiting to see if whoever leaves the taxi makes for his shop.
Edward Driscoll, you have arrived. The taxi driver pulled a sharp U-turn across the road around behind milk carriage with its slowly plodding horse, and brings you right up in front of the antique store.
Okay, on the ride over, I would have taken a look in the wallet to see if there was any cash in it.
There is.
Okay. I didn't really want to stiff the guy and just show him a badge. So yeah, what do I owe you here?
So, with glee, he rubs his fingers and does his calculation and asks you for $1.50.
All right. I got a 5 on me.
Yeah, a number of them.
I'll give him a 5 and tell him to treat himself to something and thank him for the ride. And
My lips are sealed.
I'm assuming that he's going to know what the extra cash is for. And I will proceed to get out of the cab, hustle around to the other side, and extricate Mr. McSweeney from the other side. Has he shown any signs of waking
He's
up?
starting to come around.
Okay. All right.
You're on the
I'll
half in, half out of a car, Terrence.
Hmm.
I got him basically underneath the armpits, and I'm dragging him backwards out of the cab.
Heels striking pavement.
I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. We're here.
It's Eddie's voice.
Oh, don't ever call me buddy again.
Hey, I'm sorry. The weight of this guy's shoulder is a little bit lighter. I should have had you on that first shot.
Yeah. Right.
Imagine, and I'm just kind of nodding at him. I imagine we're regarding each other sort of like upside down. Like I'm looking down at him, he's looking up at me. But he'll be like,
outside the antique store. Cab is pulling away.
Bring me up to the door. Come on. Oh,
yep, dragging him up to the door.
The three halves of your head don't quite fit together.
oh, oh. Smalls.
Somebody you don't know is dragging a limp or ill person up to your door. And they're hammering and calling your name.
What little strength I have. Smalls. Open the door. Damn it. Oh.
It's unlocked.
Reach back and open it. Does it open out or in?
It will open in.
Okay.
Bell jangled.
Ah.
It's a good thing it went in. Might have decided to give you another one for the road. Drags him inside.
Terrence, my goodness, you look terrible.
Oh,
What's happened?
God. Just put me down, for God's sakes.
Yeah, unceremoniously, he'll just let him drop and turn to regard the proprietor.
You see a very large man in somewhere north of 40.
Ancient.
Yeah, he wears quality but well-worn clothes, and sort of soft-knuckled, double chin, plenty of extra pounds. Someone that you would size up as not being typically used to physical exertion, but hopefully with a light of intelligence in his eyes. And it's a small, narrow shop, so Alfred will he'll approach you both, sort of fussing, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. You'll have to. It is narrow, so he'll kind of edge around you as best he can. At this point, he'll be making sort of nervous glances outside, and he'll go. You notice there's about 5 locks on the door, and the shop door. So he kind of goes down the row of locks, and then he will quickly pull. There's like a display window, with goods facing the street. And then he's got the shop door, which also has its own window. So he will pull the shade down on each one, quickly turn it from open to closed, the sign, on the door, and then he'll pull the shades down, sort of, so that someone outside really can't see now what's going on inside the shop. And then he will hurry over to somewhere in the back. He's going to let me get you something to drink, Terrence. A glass of water. One moment, sir. And he will push his way. There is a curtain. There's like long counter on one side of this sort of long, deep shop, and there's like a long counter with a cash register. He goes past, that's on one side. He goes to the rear of the shop. There's a few tables and shelves and different things, but he goes past all that. He goes in through a curtain, on a curtain rod, and then you hear him stumping up some wooden stairs, and then somewhere in the bowels of the plumbing, you can hear like the water running, and then he comes down with a tall glass of water for Terrence, who's sort of, I imagine, it's just sort of half sprawled on the floor of the shop. Here, Terrence, drink up, man.
Oh, sure. I reach into my pocket and I pull out the book, the diary or whatever the hell it is. I hand it to it. So just take this, put this someplace where I can't get at it. Oh,
right. He'll quickly get it, to take it, and whisk around as much as a large man can whisk. He will hustle bustle around the back of the counter and put it underneath there, next to the book, and then come back around the front again, and sort of look at you, sort of half. He'll try to take a knee, and then sort of consolingly, like, what has happened, and kind of look up at you, Eddie.
a stranger.
For stranger, this strange person. I don't understand what. Thank you for bringing my friend to the shop here, but I don't understand what's happened. Terrence, what's happened here?
Well, I took a walk. I wanted someplace quiet to try to translate that book again. I couldn't find a damn place quiet to save my life. Not even the office. Oh, and I started hearing, it's crazy, but I started feeling like this, our it's crazy, but I just felt like I had to go to the docks. I didn't want to go, but I had to go to the docks. And then I'm just about there, and oh, I'm getting, there's people after me. I guess I saw them.
People after you?
Yeah, never mind. Listen. And then, Eddie Driscoll, private investigator, confidential investigator. Well, this
Yes.
ain't him, except it says it's him, and he knows stuff that only Eddie knows. And yeah, so I had him bring me back here, and I had him knock me out. And I downed the glass of water.
And Eddie's just kind of
Try not to
bemused at all
vomit.
of this. Yeah, he sees this large man just bustling around, obviously very familiar with his shop. Almost a dance as he's maneuvering around all the objects and the books and everything without colliding with anything, seeming impossibility. And but yeah, and then the familiar way that he's talking with Terrence, he kind of and after Terrence finishes, he's like, yeah, it's all that's what happened basically. Are you Smalls?
Yes, I'm Alfred Smalls, Smalls Antiques.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you. I'm Eddie Driscoll. Only I ain't Eddie Driscoll.
Um, well, uh, perhaps
Ed,
we should all, I, this is very, very odd. Perhaps we should have a meal, straighten things out.
That sounds like a hell of an idea. Oh, and
Yes.
I start feeling my chest and just listen. I'm just seeing if I have any of the symptoms that I had prior to having my good friend knock me out. Yeah, maybe some coffee.
Very good. I'll make some. I've actually got a coffee maker in the rear of the shop. You've seen it. And perhaps some food. Some food would do us all some wonder, especially if you've got a sore head. Let your stomach do the talking for a while. And I'll start some coffee. Alfred will start some coffee in the coffee maker. I hope you all like Chinese. He's going to call out to Mama Lou's Chinese because they do delivery. So he will call Mama Lou's Chinese food and just order enough food for the three of us to have a pretty good feast while we compare notes.
and then Eddie will note a couple of things. He notes with all the locks that Smalls is a cautious man. I mean, there's obviously some valuable stuff around here, but it seems like there's an extra measure of security going on, and he's kind of welcoming that because he doesn't know exactly what Terrence is going to be doing. So as all this is going on, he's polite, oh, that's very nice of you. It's yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry too. And but he's kind of keeping an eye on Terrence just to see if he exhibits any tendencies toward the door or windows or anything else.
This character, Smalls, he's starting to look a little familiar. Not that he's an old friend or anything like Terrence, but there's fuzzy memories of being on a snowy street. Callum was there and Terrence was there, and this young man who took you to the hospital was there. And Smalls was there too.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, it seems we're all mixed up in the same business.
No, it's your damn fault to begin with, if you are in fact Driscoll. Not that I'm blaming you. Listen,
Yeah, I'm
so
hip.
let's see
And
this wallet again. Who does this say you are?
pulls it out. Uh,
Agent Thornton. Eh,
Alex Thornton, agent of the Treasury. No, I'm a
Treasury agent.
pretty important guy. Sure helped get you off the street and into a
Yeah.
cab. And he kind of
And
it's with this fuzzy recollection of Smalls and being involved in the same business. All of a sudden, he's kind of like, wait a minute, did you did you ever find that book?
yeah, yeah. Well, one of them.
One of-
Yeah.
And it's starting to come back to Eddie about the auction and the books um, that were being auctioned off. Supposed to supposed to do something with the bus. Was I supposed to find him? Do you remember? It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Gavigan still wants the bucks.
that's right. Is Al still around somewhere?
Gavigan's back at his Gavigan's back at his estate.
Oh, geez, maybe we should give him a call or something.
Oh, we should call him, all right. Oh,
Okay.
Smalls, did you ever hear from O'Riordan?
No, I've not heard from Tommy. I'm very worried.
Oh.
Now, each time Eddie reaches up with his right hand to rub his chin, there's this tag that slides up and down around his wrist, goes all the way around like you'd see in a hospital of some kind.
And Eddie's not reacting to that because the last thing he remembers, he was in the hospital. So he's not gonna inspect it too closely.
Hmm. Yeah, it's catching my. Let me see that. Go ahead and grab the tag.
That's
On his
okay.
wrist.
The tag reads Alexander Thornton, and the logo is Danvers.
Damn.
Driscoll kind of pull back. Danvers? That's
Yeah, well, this says this is from the Danvers Hospital.
that
This
ain't where
isn't
I
from
was.
Boston. Well, this says that's where you were. Maybe this fella left Danvers Hospital and came to visit you, and then switched bodies with you. Oh, oh, Smalls,
And Eddie's kind of like, should we go to the original hospital? Maybe I'm there. He's just yeah.
This is
It's
now too much for Eddie.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. All right, I get a 21. My current is 51.
There are still lies you can tell yourself to keep yourself going.
No, I was in the hospital and this guy, and he points to his own face, this guy shows up and starts asking me all these questions about what happened. And like I said, he opened a bag and now I'm getting kind of almost like a red light that came. And it's almost the same as The Office. There was some kind of red light that came and and then I didn't remember anything. And I didn't remember anything in the hospital either.
huh? Well, And now, like, my head's starting to come a little bit. I still hurt like an SOV, but I'm like, fine, Smalls. Let me use your
Yes,
phone. Let me use the phone.
very well. He gestures. The phone is there on the counter.
Wait for the operator to come on. Yeah, I need to connect me to the Treasury office, Boston, please.
One moment, please. To whom should I direct the call?
To Agent Alexander Thornton.
There's some clicking. The woman's voice answers on the other end. Prohibition Bureau.
Prohibition. Prohibition. Yeah. Hi. My name is Terrence McSweeney. I'm looking for Agent Alexander Thornton.
Could I ask you what this is concerning?
Oh, it was just a question I had. I'm a reporter.
I see. All media inquiries are directed to Bill Rainier. I can connect you to him.
Sure. Why not?
There's a moment, and then a man's voice comes on the line. Bill Rainier.
Hey, Mr. Rainer. My name is Terrence McSweeney, Boston Post. But don't worry, I'm not doing a story right now. I just had some questions about Agent Thornton, Alexander Thornton.
Go on.
Yeah. Have you seen him lately?
Why do you ask?
Well, it seems that he visited a friend of mine. Friend of mine that was in the hospital, Mr. Eddie Driscoll. And Mr. Driscoll isn't sure where he is now. So Thornton said he wanted to get in touch with him again about something. Have you seen him?
What was your name again? McSweeney?
Terrence McSweeney. Yeah, Boston Post.
Boston Post. I will contact you there. Do you have any other questions, Mr. McSweeney?
No, just wondering if he hasn't been missing by any chance.
Do you have reason to believe that he would be missing?
Well, I talked to some other friends of his, and nobody seems to have seen him.
And could you please provide me with the names of these friends?
Well, I don't think I'm under investigation, am I?
If you're trying to determine if an agent of the Treasury has gone missing because of reports of friends that he is missing, then yes, Mr. McSweeney, I would say that there would be an investigation that would arise as a result of that if the agent in question were missing.
So he's not missing.
The names of the friends, Mr. McSweeney?
And at this point, I just hang up.
Yeah, that's the smooth Terrence I know.
Following a hunch, listening to all this, he'll actually, Alfred will ask Eddie, would you mind keeping, and he'll press a few bills into your palm and say, would you mind keeping an eye out for Mama Lou's delivery person? They're familiar with my establishment, but should be a young man on a bike, about 9 years old. Big basket on the front. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
There,
thank you. Thank you. And then Alfred will go to the phone himself hoping that there's enough distance between the front door where Eddie is posted and where he is with the phone. And Alfred will quietly place a call, ask the operator for the Danvers State Hospital for the insane.
And in the meantime, as he's doing this, Terrence is, I'm going right back up to Daddy. He's like, yeah, this guy's they have no idea where you are. You're missing.
And Eddie's kind of looking out at the street and just kind of shakes his head. Yeah, I'm missing, all right.
Now with this guy,
what do you think this guy is up to?
I don't know, but they got no idea where this guy Thornton is.
And Eddie's been kind of twitching a little bit every now and again, just kind of rolling his shoulders a little bit, and checking the balance a little bit. He's like, I think this guy's a fighter. I don't know. It's just something about the body. It feels like, everything I want to do, and he's kind of like exhibiting a few ring moves, a couple of bob and weaves here and whatever. He's like, it just comes natural. I don't, it's the damnedest thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't have quite the hit that you used to have. You would have been able to knock me out with one punch.
No, I'll agree with you there. This is quite interesting. So who's this guy, Tommy, that Smalls was talking about? You guys are worried about a lot of people going missing here.
That was nice kid, and then he just he took the book. That son of a bitch. That's right. Well, a book.
One of the books.
Yeah, it's
That's what she's saying.
Yeah, it's a long story.
Well, we'll get tucked into this meal and maybe we can start hashing some of this stuff out.
The operator on the phone. Could you speak up a little, sir?
Yes, I'm hoping to be connected with the Danvers State Hospital for the insane.
One moment, sir. Then there's connections. Danvers.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was hoping to find out what the visiting hours might be for Alex Thornton. I believe he's a patient of yours.
There's a kind of breathing out, kind of humming sound. I'm sorry, sir. If a patient by that name is here, they are not on the visitors list.
So in other words, they're not accepting. In other words, you're not at liberty to say whether or not that person is at your hospital. But if they were there, they're not accepting visitors at this time. Is that correct?
That is correct. You understand me perfectly.
Well, very good. I wish you a good day.
Well, thank you. And you too.
Click. Well, that was interesting.
A 9-year-old boy arrives on a bicycle with a huge basket and enough food for 7 or 8 people.
Mr. Smalls, open up. It's your order from Mama Lou's.
Oh, perfect.
Right. As soon as he spots him, pedaling up the street, I imagine wobbling a little bit under the weight and trying to balance everything. Eddie will start to undo all the locks, figuring that it's going to take about that amount of time until the young man arrives at the door. So he's ready to receive the parcels and make the payment.
And Alfred will hustle up, and he'll also hand over a couple of stamps, because the young man is also a stamp collector. And so Alfred knows this and wants to encourage his good hobby. So he will hand the young man a fistful of different old stamps from here and there.
Eyes are really big, and he says, bows, and he says, "Thank you for Mr. Smalls for encouraging my interest in fillet." He can't remember.
I believe it's and now I'm going to be put on the spot. Philology, is that right?
Young man doesn't know. He's embarrassed, and he's pulls for the bicycle.
Right. Yeah.
The shop is filling with the warm and wholesome smell of so much food.
Philately, he'll yell down the yell down Newberry Street. Finally remembering what it is. Yes. Why don't we take this upstairs to my apartment, and we can spread everything out properly, and we can have a good comparison of notes. And so he'll hand off, or you've got the food, Eddie, the big bags of food, and Terrence, you know the way, Terrence, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I'm grabbing the pot of coffee.
The stairs with the pot of coffee with all the food.
Alfred will bring up the rear, so he will lock up the door again, and then he'll kind of peer up, make sure they're a good 2/3 of the way up, and then he will quickly take the book and the notebook and discreetly deposit them into the safe again with a little whisper. He's like, "I'm sorry to put you in here again, but you'll be safest here." And he'll close the door and spin it again.
Now, up in Small's apartment, there's some effort to have tidied, but in red letters on the wall, as if done by fingers, as if in red paint or some other red liquid, is the phrase, "Don't look for me."
Huh.
It will bring tonight's session to a close.
Excellent. Now I want Chinese food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Minus the scrawled message.
As the coffee slowly starts to pour on the floor, as my arm relaxes a little bit. Huh.
Don't waste the coffee.
No, not just a little bit. Oh.
All right.
My head.
Now, it's been a while since we played, so I'm going to insert this because it's going to be even a longer time before this appears. But if you'll recall, when Tommy popped Alfred Smalls, the reason was he was taking the book and he fled with it.
Mhm.
How then does the book wind up in the safe later?
In the safe,
to
right.
taunt Alfred Smalls? It's
Mhm.
mysterious.
I don't know.
This book gets around. I think it goes exactly where it wants to.
And of course, there are things that I don't know because that session has not been broadcast. So
And
this
Eddie
is,
wasn't there.
Huh?
But Alex
How could
Thorne
Eddie
wasn't
possibly
there.
know?
which is
How
good.
could Eddie
That's-
possibly know? How could Eddie possibly know? Okay. And yeah, this is wrestling in my head with like, how do I begin to even tell somebody I'm not really quite sure if I know who he is, and Smalls, all the things that have happened, all the things that are going on in my head, all the things that I'm, rejecting. What do I share with people? What do I not share with people?
right.
It's going to get very convoluted in my head.
I think all of us have those little secrets that that we
Yeah, but
may
it's
choose to reveal or not. Um, yeah, I think at some point Eddie is going to have some recall as to past events, and he might not really want to um, yeah, bring those up with the others as well. So it's very interesting. Anthony sent me the character probably about a half hour before we started.
I sent
And
the character earlier to
oh,
knock
that's right.
the
Yeah,
dress.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I did. Okay, I should rephrase. I looked at it just before we started.
No,
pretty much.
you're right. I sent it to the correct address about 30
Oh,
minutes
okay.
before we started.
right.
I
Oh,
sent
I
it to the
see.
wrong address
Okay.
much earlier.
And here's me all day going, where the hell?
Where is
He
he?
said yesterday. What's going on? But
Oof.
it's and I don't know, can I well, it's obvious. I mean, one of the things about Eddie is incredibly obvious, and that is that he does not look like himself. And so when I looked at the back page of the character sheet and under marks and scars, it is written full body transformation. I was kind of like, what's gonna happen tonight? And so like, yeah, when you sort of revealed that was a really cool moment. I really enjoyed that.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens when Brian Gregory gets to watch this episode or this session.
Hopefully I did him proud with the fisticuffs there.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Sorry about that, Ivan.
Oh no, it's
you
okay.
told
It
me
was
to.
like,
Yeah.
I did because I'm,
Yeah.
thinking. I mean, that's
You asked for
literally
it.
what I
Yeah.
was going to tell Eddie last time.
Okay.
When the session just ended, it's like, listen, once I started to believe it might be Eddie, the last thing I wanted to do was to continue to my walk to the dock.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, how can I possibly stop this? I gotta get stopped. Somebody has to stop me. But there's some very terrible things that I am starting to consider.
Yeah. And Eddie is nothing if not loyal, being that good egg. he's gonna accept what his friend says, pretty much unquestioningly. And yeah.
What was this gal's name? I forgot to write her name down.
Oh, it was Abby O'Toole.
Oh, of course.
Nobody's fool, Abby O'Toole.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
She was a fool for McSweeney, I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll tell you that. I just kept on remembering her as Rosie O'Grady, but then regularly old-fashioned girl. But yeah,
there you go.
Under the bleachers, my goodness.
Yeah.
Terrence.
But of all that
Shame
was,
on you.
I didn't wrestle with them. Like all the things that Terrence has had to accept as being possibly true. This is so far down the list of improbable things to accept.
Well, somewhere out there, I'm wondering, there's definitely a mystery with the Danvers Asylum. Like what, just that oddball kind of, he might be here, he might not be here. I'm not really at liberty to say. So they may have a missing patient that they don't want to reveal, has given them the slip. So you may be, Eddie, as Thornton, you mean you're running around with a Danvers tag on your wrist. So there's a story there. And then so, if Eddie is wearing if Eddie's wearing Thornton's skin, does that mean Thornton's wearing Eddie's skin? Is Eddie, is the husk of Eddie out there somewhere doing
God
Thornton-y
knows what.
things, just as Thornton's husk is doing Driscoll-y things? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I even made allusion to it when, when we saw the Danvers tag and everything. I'm sort of like, well, am I still in the hospital? Should we go to the other hospital and see if I'm there?
Yeah.
And why didn't I tell that detective I was Ethan Pritchard?
Yeah.
It was still a freaking blow from Eddie.
Yeah.
It wasn't my usual smooth self.
If we do end up at the Danvers Hospital at some point, we may want to not have you come sauntering in the front door with
No.
us.
There he is.
Yeah.
Well, there are so many avenues to explore.
Yeah.
Am I at some point, I'm thinking in the back of my head, am I at some point going to be walking into the federal offices and, like, for whatever reason trying to impersonate Alex Thornton, or I don't know.
Well, for Alfred's part, he does want to make, and this could take some time, but he wants to make a thorough, methodical study of the book, of Prynne's book, as well as the notebook, because we really, from the get-go, we've had the book off and on, but we haven't really given it a literal cover to cover. And of course, the contents have kind of changed as well, but we've never really sat down and studied the book. We've always kind of had it, but
Just
we've
trying to
been
read
sort
it.
of, yeah, we've kind of read it piecemeal or kind of different things, but we've not really given it a cover to cover read. And then there's the notebook as well that we found. So I think Alfred, that's a something that he wants to do. Maybe that could be a quick slide to madness, or that could be helpful to us in some way, or both. It may even give the spell for body switching. Maybe there's it could be something that we use the book in some way to get you feeling more like yourself, and Agent Thornton feeling more like himself. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But
maybe there's instructions on how to remove certain brands.
yeah, right. There could be all kinds of helpful things, but of course, those are things. It's kind of like searching for buried treasure in a minefield. Are you going to dig up the treasure, or are you going to blow your head off, like, in the process? So it's going to be sort of a dangerous game, I think, or a dangerous study. But I'm curious, or Alfred is curious, about the personality of the book, and sort of just like Alfred, well, yeah, just like Alfred has a relationship with you guys, he almost is thinking of it as a relationship with this book, this character that is the book. So we'll see if it ends up befriending us, or allying with us, or I'm sure it's got its own interests, but is it going to use us, or is it going to, or is it going to screw us over, or is it going to actually help us in some way? I don't know.
Yeah. That's something that's really come across to the viewers, I think, is the relationship of Alfred Smalls to the book. And I think the last session that was published, somebody even says, I wonder if the book is going to keep talking Albert Smalls, or if he's going to keep talking to it. So yeah.
Right. In some ways, that could be the most maddening thing if the book suddenly becomes just a book. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to become just a book, but that would, in some ways, I think, be the most maddening thing of all. If it decides it doesn't want to have the relationship with Smalls anymore, because Smalls is definitely intrigued by this thing, this sentient thing that they've crossed paths with. Whole mystery of the Scott farm. We've got kind of like there's stuff going on, stuff that happened there. There's this sort of Silver Twilight Lodge that has a history that, you know, maybe there could be people out there that are still connected with that. We've got Boss Morgan, who just sort of disappeared. He's still out there somewhere, you know, with a part to play. We get Gavigan sort of in his full retreat in his home. We've got Lieutenant Washburn, who's doing his own inquiries somewhere. So we'll have to see what happens with Washburn, if he can help us or if we cross paths with him. But right now, the most pressing thing, I guess, Eddie, is that you're not quite yourself.
What?
Yeah.
Do you see those people across the street?
There's the other thing. Yeah, those weirdos across the street who I actually sold them the desk.
Oh, next door. You sold.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. He was the
also. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
sold
that.
the
There's
divan
that
next door, and
right.
you sold the desk to the people and future.
Yeah, the people with the pamphlets, and the so-called blind man, the tattooed blind man who was
the one who did the purchasing,
did the business. Yeah. So spoke for the first time, at least that I could tell, and so he's got a relationship with these weirdos across the street. And then there's my nice neighbor, or nice seeming neighbor up the next door neighbor, who's an artist of some kind. So.
No. I mean, the ones you can't see them, but I know they're out there.
The who? What?
Right. And
I know they're watching.
The man with the blue hat band who's been following.
They're watching. I know he's got to be out there someplace.
Have another egg.
Be a bakery across the road.
Yeah,
Tarnowski's Baker. Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, my heart grows. There's my
they great donuts.
Shadow passes.
I don't think I've opened a newspaper
Alfred's
recently,
face.
so.
Yeah, poor Marta Taranowski. She was a good soul.
She was a good soul.
Yeah.
And now she's just referred to as, it's about those murders, isn't it?
Yeah. A casualty of a war. Yeah. Poor thing.
All right, gents. We should.
Yeah, which one looks better?
The third one.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
It's that time?
Yep, it's that time. So thanks for joining us, Scott, and bringing the beleaguered Eddie Driscoll to life. Nice to see you again, Brian, returning in the role of Alfred Smalls, food orderer and aficionado. And for our intrepid, beleaguered, now paranoid reporter, I can thank Ivan for his efforts.
And thank you to you.
What?
Our esteemed keeper of arcane lore.
Yeah.
I was just here.
Well, here in a big way.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Take it easy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I just got a join request from Mr. Smalls. But he has not appeared. Oh, there he comes. Wow, you look svelte.
Well, I'm such a big fan of Ivan that I thought I would join the club.
The hair club for men.
Yeah. Where is the hair club? Where is the hair?
That is lovely. He's just had a heart
I did
attack,
it at,
and you've arrived just in time for the session to end. But I wanted to chat with you.
oh, all right. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry about this, guys. I just had a things. I had a
Family first.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, it's okay. I'm not resentful because we could have found Tommy O'Riordan and had a
It would have been
cheerful
awful.
and wonderful reunion with him. But instead, I'm going mad and the whole world is after me.
Oh my goodness. Great.
Not the whole world.
Great,
There were some nice people that you met.
No, it's the whole damn world. It's the whole world.
All this was, I do apologize. I feel bad because all what I did tonight was supposed to happen on Monday, and it got pushed to Wednesday at the last minute, and everything got kind of foobar.
Listen, I hate to say something was like something, but did you watch the see John Wick 2, I think it was?
Yeah. I think I've seen the first 3.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay, so at the very end, when all of a sudden the contract in his life is now out, and he starts running because everybody in the entire world is looking at him.
Right.
That's right. He's at the park, and they all stop and look at him.
I didn't think of that until just now, but this essentially was the feeling that McSweeney is having, that I'm having. And even as I had to interrupt the session because my cat kept on was crying, and I was like, my daughter's not here, so I thought she was to take care of the cat. So even as I'm doing that, and I'm coming back, and I'm waiting for Anthony to come back on the screen, I'm still like, oh my God, what do I do? Yeah, it was great.
So, yeah. So from Albert Small's perspective, right? Ivan and I had a little miscommunication about the scene. So he imagined that Smalls was upstairs, and so he was taking care of the shop for you. So you had a customer that McSweeney drove away, and
great.
While you were upstairs. So when we get to play again, right, there'll be 2 doorbell jingles, or 3 doorbell jingles, and when you come back down, the shop is empty and Terrence is gone.
But clearly, Smalls has to use the restroom every once in a while.
That's right, and we don't talk about such things.
Lines and veils, Only O'Riordan uses the restroom.
That's right. And that's so you can have screaming matches with other people's voices.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's similar, Brian. Don't worry about it because we had hoped to have a solo session, you and I, during the 2 weeks when Ivan was away, but we kept having work done here at the house, and the guy didn't show up both weeks. Yeah. And so I was just sitting here not playing because he could arrive at any minute.
Right.
And then never came.
Right.
So
the cool part is I had multiple successful rolls, and they were all to spot the people that were after me. So the successful rolls were all like, become more paranoid.
Well, I was going to say, are these actually people after you, or are these?
Damn right they are.
To you, right? Is this paranoia, or is this the real? You don't know, right? You probably
of course
don't know.
It's real.
He doesn't know.
Yeah. Of course it's real. That's right. Yeah.
Of course.
I couldn't fail a spot hidden roll to save my freaking life. And look, there they are. There's more.
I'm the most reliable narrator on
earth. So it was great. It was great, but man, the feeling of paranoia was really kind of palpable.
Well, I will catch up with it on the audio. I'll catch up with it on the YouTube. So by the time we play again, I'll
Where
see
are
it,
you
hear
in
it.
the series?
I'm only on like the 6th one. I'm only on the 6th episode.
That's
so
a
I'm
lot.
back. I've got a ways. That's
like 12
to go.
hours of shenanigans.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. I got a lot more to listen, and so I look forward to that as well. It's been very entertaining on my car rides to work.
How do you feel about being the hero of the series?
Oh wow, yeah, I saw
Did you
that.
see that comment? Yeah.
Yes, I did. I thought that was very endearing. That was very made gave me all the feels, all the good feels.
Oh no, I was
so
right there, man. Like Smalls is like the hero of the.
Well, I mean, he's definitely he's likable. I find him to be very very likable and relatable and very real. He's really come alive on his own. And to the point where it's play to find out. I never quite know how he's going to react to things. I've heard of writers that have characters that refuse to. I wanted to kill the character off, and he or she wouldn't let me, or I wanted them to become the villain or something, and they wouldn't let me. So he's really become that. As proud as I am, or as heartfelt as I that got me all in the feels. It's still I look at us as a dynamic duo. I think we're both heroic in our own ways. Smalls is heroic in his ways, but McSweeney is just as much a truth seeker, and we're both hazarding our way through this maze of insanity. So as much as I appreciate that commentator and I love that, I'd be the first one to add that it's a team effort. It's a group effort. And I think we both have those moments where both the characters shine and have their moments that make us smile. So
For example,
and also,
how could
ahead.
Smalls be heroic if Terrence didn't go to the bottom of the well and get trapped?
Yeah,
That's right. It was Terrence first down the bottom of the well. So, yeah. And I mean, just your dogged. I'm the one that sold out on the big desk. Like, I'm the one that wasn't very heroic. I mean, Alfred Smalls. I mean, I don't know if Terrence.
It's either that or call Aunt Tilly. It's either that or call Aunt Tilly, and God forbid. So you do what you
can't call Aunt Tilly, no. And you chased one of my. You're pushing me right into Aunt Tilly's parlor there by chasing away all of my business.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah. So it's great. I really I did love that comment, but I also feel that there's moments where both characters have really stepped up at times that have been difficult.
Oh yeah, I don't see it at all as a competition or anything else like that. But Smalls is definitely one of those guys. Like the unlikely, who are you going to call? You call Alfred Smalls.
Yeah, and he might fail. But it's almost like I don't want to get too. That's usually when the devil comes for you, right? When you're at that top of your, that's.
I took out Mickey the Fist with these guns.
Yeah, exactly right. You hooligan.
Yeah.
Unhand my friend.
You ruffian. And throwing the snowball.
Didn't I throw a snowball at him or something too?
You did.
I threw an ice ball at him.
You did.
Yeah.
That was just one of the greatest moments in my RPG history is watching Smalls beat up Mickey the Fist and throw a snowball at him.
This is an interesting point. Like, are you experiencing the same thing with Terrence that in play there's a division between what you would do, but what now in this moment Terrence would do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Terrence is definitely, is much less dogged than he originally was, or like the original impression I have of this guy is like he was just gonna tunnel his way through anything. And he, the feelings I get right off the bat is he's just so freaked out,
right.
And he's just clutching. He's like Gavigan clutching for something. He's still here, But the similarities between him and Gavigan, well, Gavigan's in the God knows where he was in the netherworld or wherever.
Right.
It's not that different. McSweeney is still clutching for something, but there's no McSweeney to grab onto. There's nothing. The closest thing there is Smalls. And
well, there's lots to grab onto there.
well, exactly, but but yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely decisions I would have made. I mean, even this session where he turns towards the docks. It's not what I would have done. And that was kind of horrifying, but
Right. There's this other aspect at play too, like the character when he started, the character's power rating, right? That characteristic which represents willpower and your ability to, let's say, effect change in the world, right? It's how it gets represented in BRP. A significant portion of this was sapped from Terrence, right? And so the spillover effects of this when you're asked to make a roll for power, whatever it is, whether that be in its expression as luck, or how I like to think about it in Call of Cthulhu, not as luck but as entanglement.
Right.
These things have all been diminished for Terrence, right? His world, the way he interacts with his world, has actually changed. Metaphorical, but also on a game system mechanical level. It's changed.
Right.
You can feel the effects.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's always kind of interesting to see where he's, once I step into his shoes, very often it's just like I already start to feel like real serious unease. And then nothing he bumps into now. Like he can't walk 5 feet without bumping into something disturbing, whether or not it's really there or just his perception.
Yes, which is entertaining. Oh, that's the other detail, Brian, is that while Smalls was momentarily distracted and out of the room and Terrence left, he left with the cipher book.
Oh. All right. So yeah.
Hey, look,
so
you sold the desk. I took the book. Big deal.
Yeah, and then Tommy.
Let's not
took
point
the other
fingers. Let's not point
Yeah.
fingers. About who did what.
Hey, when stuff leaves the shop, it's supposed to bring in money, not just leave the shop.
That's right.
Well, at least I didn't end up kissing the linoleum this time.
Send Tommy a bill.
Tommy's.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Right. It was a very painless reduction of stock this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gentlemen, I must away, but I'm glad we could get back together and that I could crush the life out of Ivan.
Danvers. God.
Well,
I've been to Danvers many times.
Just to give you a hint, Brian, McSweeney met a man claiming to be Eddie Driscoll, confidential investigator, but he was not wearing Eddie Driscoll's face.
Ooh. Oh my.
And on that happy note,
yeah.
Take care, gents.
All right, gentlemen.
Take it easy. Be good.
Good to see you.